B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, Shiur Torah, Baruch Hashem. We are back here in Aventura, Florida. For anyone that lives within the hour and a half vicinity, you should definitely come to the Shiurim, because apparently the Yetzer Hara does not want the live feature to continue working, at least without a little bit of suffering. So it seems like anyone that's close should take advantage. Baruch Hashem, good to see a couple of new faces. Anyway, we have our Iggeret Ramban series continuing. It's a very deep series. The letter is extraordinary, written over 800 years ago, from Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman to his dear son, but really to all of us. Trying to give us a little bit of advice that if we would simply listen to it, you could eliminate the vast majority, if not all of the suffering you have in this life. It doesn't mean you won't have problems. It just means you'll eliminate the suffering, because you'll see that the root of suffering, where it stems from, whether it's your fault or not your fault, whether it's something that you could do something about or you can't do something about. The shiur will be also for a refuah shlema for Avi Mori, David ben Nesriya, my dear mother Doris Bajora, Rabbanit Levana bat Sarah, Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, Yochevet bat Batya, Batya bat Sarah, Elisheva Chaya bat Sarah, Dvorah bat Mercedes, and all of Am Yisrael BeEzrat Hashem will have refuah shlema, refuat nefesh, refuat aguf. So the Ramban is giving us advice that we could tell already for the last 15 lectures in this series are obviously applicable not only to his day, but to every day and to everyone, Jew or non-Jew, male or female, young or old. If you take the advice of the Ramban seriously, you could literally transform your life into heaven on earth. If you ignore it, then simply you'll continue living like everybody else, which for the most part are just living a life full of suffering. And quite frankly, there won't be that much of a change between this world and Gehenom, because both are apparently, for most people, are suffering. I see people, there's messages all day on WhatsApp and Facebook and emails. 95% of the messages that people send me is one form of suffering or another. People are simply suffering, and all types of suffering, whether it's broken hearts, broken spirits. Is the thing working still? Because I see some type of error message on the screen. There's an error message on it. If you could just press dismiss. Is it working still? Not working? Failed? If it failed, then we just simply have to the show has to go on, but it's working? Okay, said it. It's working? Baruch Hashem. Okay, somebody just monitor it from time to time so I don't have to ask you. It would be fantastic. So, I mean, there's not much we can do anyway, but anyway. So, you see that most people are suffering. Religious, non-religious, old, young, male, female. People just suffering, non-stop. They wake up in the morning, 9 out of 10 people are depressed. Half of those people are already taking drugs for it, thinking that the drug's going to help them. People are really living an excuse for a life. Now, the world around us doesn't really do much help, because we see that there's not really many people to look up to. Say, oh yeah, he's happy, I'm going to look up to him. No. Who do people look up to? They look up to the celebrities, the rich and famous. They look up to them all the way until they find out what's really happening behind the scenes. They find out that the guy that's famous really is an adulterer, cheating on his wife, maybe even with another guy or something. The guy that's a celebrity really lost all of his money. It's really fake celebrity. He's just pretending. He's on every single gig because he has no money. He spent $100 million already. You see that he's addicted to drugs. She's addicted to drugs. All types of disgusting things. And you see, wow, I looked up to this guy. Can't believe it. I just wasted 5-10 years of my life reading all this guy's books, and he's an excuse of a human being. Mm-hmm. So, what do we look up to? We look up to a bunch of people that, for the most part, are losers. But we don't know it until after. Now, those same people are the same exact people that are causing the nation itself to be slowly but surely put in great danger, no less and most likely much more than the danger that we were in over 70, 80 years ago, right before the Holocaust. Today, there was the elections in Eretz Israel. For the first time in history, in the land of Israel, the election was fought by two obvious parties, meaning the message of one party was that they were fighting in order to protect the religion, if you will, to the best of their ability. Bibi Netanyahu, even though he himself is not religious at all, he pretends to like religious people because he has a library that has a few Gemara books in there and a Tanakh, and he pretends to have a Shiur Tanakh every week, even though his top marketing professional is a Christian missionary. He himself doesn't keep any Torah and mitzvot unless he likes it. But he pretends to like. Why? Because he likes the votes of the religious people. So the religious people went with him. Whether it's Gimel or Shas or so on, they're like, oh, go with Bibi. Even though Bibi is a kofar, we'll go with him. Why? Because he is a lesser evil than the other Reshaim. Lapidi, Machshimo Bezichro, and the other guys. These guys are Mash, Haman, Nebuchadnezzar, and Hitler, all together. So the lefty liberals outright said for the first time, their mission is to destroy Judaism. Just today, this guy Avigdor, Yimach Shemo V'zichro, said, as soon as we get control, meaning they go into government, they win the election, first mission to eliminate this barbarous minhag called Brit Milah. He actually publicizes himself on his Facebook page. His first mission on the job, not to help the economy, help the unemployed, help something useful in the world. No, we're going to destroy this minhag, this barbarous custom in his eyes, called circumcision. That's his job in the world. Like everybody else goes to sleep with a lot of things on their mind. Some people go to sleep stressed out because they don't have enough money, they don't know how they're going to pay the rent. Some people are stressed out because they're lonely. They used to be married, now they're divorced, or they want to be married. Some are stressed out because they can't bring kids to the world. Some people are stressed out because of some test they have tomorrow. People have all types of stresses. Avigdor, he's stressed out. Why? Because there are some Jews that have a circumcision at the 8th day. That stresses him out. He's no different than the mayor of Tveria. What is he stressed out about? Two things. One, he's stressed out that people want to keep Shabbat. So he says his number one job as being mayor of Tveria is to force everyone to violate Shabbat. Public transportation and so on and so forth. But that's not enough. One stress is not enough. Come on, guys. We're all stressed out. Stressed out means you have more than one stress. What's the second stress? He's stressed out that there are holy grave sites. So right now he's on a mission. He sent a letter to the government. He's seeking approval and government assistance to destroy Kever Rachel. Not the Rachel Imenu, but Rachel, the Rabbi Akiva's wife. He's bothered. He's bothered that there's a tombstone for a woman that people go pray there. He's bothered by it. He wants to destroy it. That's what bothers him at night. The rest of mankind are worried whether they're going to be able to eat tomorrow. But he's stressed out. Why? Because there's some people, they call them Jews. Like his grandfather was actually a rabbi. They want to go to grave sites. Why? Because these are holy people. And you figure you pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu at a holy site. Hopefully you do something good for the holy person that died. And in essence, that holy person will pray for you in Shemayim. You don't pray Chas v'Shalom to the holy person. If you do, that's idolatry. You pray at the place. Why? Because you don't necessarily have to go to the place. But if you do, you pray at the place because you're saying, I'll do something for this tzaddik or tzaddikah. In return, this tzaddik or tzaddikah will fight for me in heaven. But you pray to Hashem. In essence, pleading your case with Hashem. But this Kobe, he's bothered. He's bothered. Why? No. It's unbearable for you to pray. He wants people to pray to him. Now you'd figure that people would wake up and say, listen, whether I'm religious or not doesn't really make a difference. Why do I care if these, call them crazy or otherwise, these religious people want to pray at a gravesite? Why would I care? Go pray. Go break your head for all I care. Why would I care if these religious people want to do Brit Milah? What do I care? Go, you want to cut your ear, cut your lip, cut your that, go cut, enjoy. What do I care if you cut or don't cut? Doesn't affect me. You're not forcing me to cut. But, Rabotai Yekarim, the Amalek that we learned about in last week's parasha is alive and well and becoming more bold by the day. Now, the truth is, it's not just Amalek's fault. It's not. Amalek is Amalek. That's his job in the world. Amalek comes in the form of a Jew and a non-Jew. People think it's just Nazis. No. Jew and non-Jew can be Amalek. One of the criteria of being Amalek is someone that hates God and his religion. Hates the Torah. Has no fear of Hashem. Meaning, even if the guy wears a kippah and has a beard, he has no fear of Hashem. He has one of the criteria. Not for sure Amalek, but he has one of the criteria that describes Amalek. That's what it says in the parasha. Parasha last week. Amalek did not fear Hashem. And we have a mitzvah to kill Amalek. Now we're not allowed because we don't really know who, what, when, and how. But in reality, in the days of the Sanhedrin, Avigdor, Kobi, and the rest of the guys killed on the spot without a trial. Why? These people are for sure Amalek. But we can't. But the reality is, it's not even their fault. You cannot even blame them. Why? It's our fault. It's our fault. They're just doing their job. You cannot blame a shark for eating a person. He's hungry. You happen to be in his way, so he wants to take a little munch. What's it? What? What? You look like a seal. Nice and delicious. White version. Fine. What? Sometimes white meat, sometimes dark meat. What? What's the problem? You happen to be. You cannot be blamed. Nobody ever says, listen, I'm suing this shark because he ate my friend. No. Why? He's doing his job. He's hungry. He eats. Amalek looks to destroy the Torah. That's its job. You can hate him, but you can't blame him. That's his job. You cannot blame Esav for being Esav. That's why Yaakov Avinu didn't say, I hate Esav. Oh, I wish Esav died. Oh, no, what did he say? Atzileni na miyad achi, miyad Esav. He told the Kadosh Baruch Hu, please save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. Wait, your brother and Esav is the same person. Why are you mentioning it twice? Because we see, Yad achi, that's my brother. Yad Esav, that's Esav. But what's the difference between the two? The difference between the two, Rabotai Yekarim, when he's Esav, it's obvious. We know that Esav wants to kill us. Why? He's Nazi Germany. He's the Romans. He's the Greeks. He's Nebuchadnezzar. He's the Spanish Inquisition. It's obvious. He wants to kill you. He's Avigdor. He's Lapid. He's Kobi. He's all these people. It's obvious. He's outright telling you. But Yaakov said, Atzileni na miyad achi first. Meaning he's more scared of Achi. He's more scared of his brother. Who's the brother then? So it's the same person. But when? Why am I more scared of him? Because he's in disguise. You don't even know he's dangerous. He has a beard and a kippah. He has a beard and a kippah. He's a rabbi. Big rabbi. He has a bunch of rabbis. A bunch of students. He's scarier. Sometimes he comes in the form of a Christian missionary that pretends to love you. He's not coming with a knife. He's not coming with a gun. He's coming with hugs and kisses and some money too. And that's where we come in, Rabotai. The religious parties have made a critical mistake. And that is, they've made and they repeated the mistake that we've been making for over 2,000 years. And that is, each person wants to go his own way. So the Haredim have their Gimel, their Maflaga, they're part of the government. They don't want to be part of Shas. They're also religious. Why? Because you don't have exactly the same way of learning and doing and this and that. It's the same Torah. You're religious, we're religious, but you have a little bit different customs than us, and you have certain things that we don't necessarily agree with, as if two people in the world agree on everything. So what we're going to do, we're going to start another maflaga. We're going to start another one, another miflaga. We're going to start another part of the government. So Shas, the religious party, and Gima, another religious party, and there's another one or two here and there that no one really pays attention to. And guess what happens to the religious parties? All of the religious people, they choose which one. So the votes thin out. So nobody gets enough votes. None of the religious parties get enough votes. So what actually ends up happening? The religious parties break up, which is the reason why we're still in the exile for 2,000 years, because sinat chinam, for no reason, no unity whatsoever. While the Reshaim Gemurim, the lefty liberals, they want homosexuals to get married, they want Christian missionaries to come to the land, reform, cancel Brit Milah, eat pig in the streets, everything that's against the Torah, what are they doing? Uniting. All of the Reshaim unite, and the so-called Tzaddikim were separate. Why? Because your kippah's black, and mine has holes in it. Because your beard is groomed, and mine is like that. It's like a tree. You have a different beard. You wear suits, we wear this. Everybody's got their own thing. Oh, so we shouldn't be together. So where does Hashem give more power to? The united. The united. Now, for anyone who watched, the shiur that we did was Haman a Zionist. If you didn't, you should. One part of that shiur, we discuss all of the different warning shots that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Am Yisrael for many years before the Holocaust. And we see that in the book by Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman, Alav Shalom, he was one of the people that screamed out warning shots after warning shots to the nation, so hopefully the nation will do tshuva. Unfortunately, people laughed at him in his face. Just like they laughed at his Rebbe, the Chafetz Chaim. When the Chafetz Chaim tried to tell people to do tshuva, they literally laughed at his face. Nobody did anything, and the Holocaust followed. In case anyone has been sleeping under a rock, 6 million Jews died during the Holocaust. Now, and many, many more millions non-Jews. Now, if you read the Epic of Mashiach that we have on our website for free, for anyone that subscribes to the website for free, it's a short book by Rav Elchanan Wasserman that's translated to English. And if you read it, it's like reading the news today. Nothing changed. In fact, we are worse. We're in much worse shape today than we were back then. Which means the following. If something drastic doesn't happen very, very soon, by some miracle, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will simply repeat the same solution he has used many, many times. The solution he used at the first Bet HaMikdash, the solution he used at the second Bet HaMikdash, the Spanish Inquisition, all the different types of things that have happened to Am Yisrael for over 2,000 years. And that is, Rabotai Yekarim, a holocaust. Hashem Yirachem Aleinu. You want to live in denial? You don't think it's going to happen? Not this time. You want to believe the slogan, never again? Good for you. Good for you. You can live in denial all you want. But eventually you'll realize that the denial is just a river. It's not something that's going to help or be conducive to your life. We are in dear danger as a nation. Now, what's the root of the problem? The root of the problem for the religious and the non-religious that are simultaneously destroying the people is what the Ramban wrote about 800 years ago. After telling us about all of the horrible character traits that a person needs to protect themselves from, whether it be anger, or it be all types of different things that lead to anger, judging people incorrectly, not being humble, he goes into more detail. He now goes into detail into the one thing that he repeats multiple times in this letter. And he says, V'ata b'ni da ureh. Now my son, understand clearly. Ki hamitgaeh belibo al habriot, mored hu b'malchut shamayim. The one who is prideful in his heart towards other men is rebelling against the sovereignty of heaven. Ki mitpaer hu bilbush malchut shamayim, shene'emar Adonai malach geut lavesh. For he glorifies, this proud person is glorifying himself in God's own robes. For it is written in Psalm 93, verse number 1, Hashem reigns, he dons the raiment of grandeur. Meaning that pride only belongs to Hashem because he is the source of all good, all wisdom, all everything. everything you do, in essence, you really didn't do it. Hashem did it. Someone that's proud of their intellect and their IQ, in reality, did you invent your own IQ? No. Did you even invent yourself? No. Did you create yourself? No. So being proud of your thought, of your chidush, of your new insight, of your invention is for what? You're proud of something that Hashem gave you on a silver platter? Why are you proud? He's proud of his looks. Did you, again, go back to the same thing. Did you create yourself? Did you make yourself so good looking? Your skin shining, your skin not shining, your eye over here, your eye over here, all that stuff that makes you good or not good looking. You did it? No. So what are you proud of? And all the different things that people are proud about. What are you proud of? Money? Did you really make the money? You actually believe you made the money? There are plenty of harder workers than you that have more money and less money. There are people that literally deliver boxes every day. You guys call them UPS drivers. That are worth 10, 20, 30 million dollars. You would never know it. I know a few of them. They have 10, 20 million dollars, but deliver boxes. Yes, sir, thank you, sir. Sometimes no, sir. Sometimes you drop off the box and leave. They have 10, 20 million dollars. And there are some that do the same exact thing with those same boxes and have maybe $20. Not 10, 20 million, that's missing a few zeros. And some people that would pray just so they could eat anything, even if it's dog food. And there's one guy that I know, I made a lot of money with him. He died already. In Kansas, they made over $100 million selling dog food. Different people, different things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides who's going to be rich, who's going to be poor. So the Ramban says that if a person is proud, he's proud of something he never really created. And that's a very serious problem. Why? You're proud for no reason. This, Rabotai Karim, is the reason why we have such lack of unity among our nation. Everybody wants their idea and their idea only. The non-religious say, wait a minute, we want to live a non-religious life. So it's not enough that you have free choice, you can do whatever you want. You want to drive on Shabbat, go drive on Shabbat, you're not going to get arrested. You want to eat pig, go eat pig, go. Good luck in getting home too with that pig. You and the pig will be in the same chamber, whatever. But no one's telling you, listen, if you do it, we're going to shoot you in the face. Go, do it. No, but it's not enough to be religious and lefty liberal. You want to eat pig and you want to force everyone else to eat pig. You want to work on Shabbat and you want to force everyone else to work on Shabbat. You want to go live a life against Hashem and you want everyone else to do it also. It's not enough to be secular and liberal and lefty. You want everybody else to do it. Why? If you're not going to follow my idea, how could I live with myself? Who's like that? Haman. Haman was the same thing. Now the religious are the same exact thing though, unfortunately. Just on the other side. Why? He said, listen, if you're not going to wear a shtreimel, you're not religious enough for me. If you don't have a beard, you may not even be Jewish. I've had a few comments on the internet. People say to me, listen, why do you groom your beard? Are you really Jewish? They ask me. Why? Because at some point I used to groom my beard until I gave up on the whole thing because it just takes too much time. But by literally, they decided that if you have a beard and if you groom it, your Judaism is in question. I mean, the level of stupidity that people have today, I wonder whether there's actually a brain or a mouse inside that head. For sure there's no Torah, because somebody who has Torah does not think like that. But that's how people are. Oh, if you wear shtreimel, no, you're too religious. You're under-religious. You're not this. So everybody is forcing their idea on everybody else. They cannot live as long as somebody else has some idea that's different. Even though our entire Gemara, our entire oral Torah, is full of debates, we can no longer have a normal debate with each other and still hug each other after. We're not talking about having a debate where a heretic or a Christian missionary of some kind that's preaching idolatry. Those people, if it was up to us, we wouldn't, we would pray for all of them to disappear from the world. That's what Hashem wants. Every time there's a church that's destroyed, you have to do a bracha. Thank Hashem for destroying Avodah Zarah from the world. We're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody that just simply is not living the same exact things as you, same customs and so on. Oh, you don't believe the Rebbe is the Mashiach? Oh, he's not going to save you. Wait, did you just turn Chabad into a new religion? I know some Chabadniks don't believe this. They believe that I'm Jewish also, just like you. But No, but if you're crazy, you have to go full force. So, this all comes, Rabotai, from pride. Now, Rav Chaim Shmuelevitz, alav shalom, said one time that he was walking and he saw a bunch of kids being entertained by watching the garbage men putting the garbage away. Now, in those days, it wasn't as technologically advanced as the garbage system is in America, where a machine pretty much picks up everything. The guy that's driving is pretty much living on borrowed time because it's only a matter of a few years before he's not needed either. In the old days, there was two guys, at least two guys, sometimes three guys managing one garbage truck. One guy would drive, and two guys would manage the garbage. One guy would stand on top of the truck, one guy on the bottom of the truck. The guy on the bottom of the truck takes the garbage, throws it to the guy on top. The guy on top throws it into the thing. That's it. That was the whole job. It actually used to be a relatively respectable job, made a good living. You knew you were needed. Not so much anymore because machines have replaced many of these jobs, but the point is that back then, this was not such a bad job. Wasn't such a ideal job as far as the hygiene is concerned, but such is life. So Rav Shmuelevitz sees a bunch of kids being entertained by watching the garbage men. And the guy that's on the bottom, throwing the garbage up, he looks at the kids. He says, what? Don't think, well, you're looking at me, I'm here on the bottom. Don't think it's always like this. Tomorrow is my turn. I'm going to be on top. He's going to be here in the bottom. Don't think I'm always on the bottom. Tomorrow's my turn. I'm on the top. And Rav Shmuelevitz says, look at what this guy is actually proud of. What are you proud of? That tomorrow you're going to be on top of the truck sitting on a bunch of garbage? That's the pride that you're actually proud of this? That's how stupid we are, right? We, in essence, are all standing on a bunch of garbage and we're proud of it. What are you proud of? Did you create anything? Did you do anything by yourself without Hashem's assistance? But we're proud. We're very, very proud. Now, sometimes pride is obvious to see in a person because that's the way they manage their life. Immediately they show you how proud they are and how you are wrong and they are right. And it comes in all forms and sizes. It comes in religious and it comes in non-religious forms. Pride doesn't have an address. It simply can be in everyone's heart. We're all born proud until we start learning some Torah and we decide whether we're going to take this to heart or not. Pride is not one of those things that leaves by itself. You have to learn about it. Now, until you do, you'll justify being proud of everything that you have. If you have money, you'll be proud of it. If you don't have money, you'll be proud of it. Why? Look, I'm still managing in the world without money. You'll be proud of not having money. If you have intellect, you'll be proud of it. Why? I'm smarter than everybody else. If you're not, say, look, I'm still doing okay even though I'm not as smart as Einstein. Meaning the poor and the rich are both proud of some stupid reason they create in their head. Now, the Rebbe of Komarno, in his book, Notzer Chesed, says that why does a Kadosh Baruch Hu despise a proud person? He says in Proverbs, Toivat Hashem kol gvalev. Someone that's proud, someone that's arrogant, is considered disgusting in the eyes of Hashem. What's disgusting? As I gave you guys some visual of this, every one of you that's actually paying attention to the shiur will listen to this for the first time, or second time, or third time. But if you're not paying attention to the shiur, I'll say it again next time for you. Sometimes you see, it's like a dead animal, some raccoon or cat or dog or somebody cross the street at the same time that the car decided to cross the street, or the garbage truck decided to cross the street. And both of them had a nice meeting, just ended really quickly. So after that meeting, the teeth went over here, the stomach went over there, the legs are over here, all over the place. And after nobody cleans it up the next day, what happens in the nice hot sun of Florida? Starts cooking, starts stenching. It's filthy and disgusting. You see the stomach here, the eyes here, it's gross, right? That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. Someone that's proud, someone that's arrogant, that's what he thinks of him. Just as much as you think, just visualize, you're about to give this animal a kiss. Come, muchi, muchi, muchi. Come. Right? You wouldn't do it, right? Because it's disgusting. What do you think Hashem's going to give you a kiss? When you're proud? No. Why? It's disgusting. Why? The Rebbe of Komarno says, why is a Kadosh Baruch Hu disgusted of such a person? He says, because this person, in essence, what did he do by being proud? He started worshiping himself. He is his own idol. He is his own God. Why? Because he thinks that he's in charge of his own destiny. He's in charge of his own money. He's in charge of his own fortune. He's in charge of everything. And anyone that crosses his path, crosses her path, and disagrees with her or disagrees with him, that cannot be. He acts as if he's a God. He has to put them in their place. What? You don't know what you're talking about. And he starts insulting them in public as if it's okay. Now, Avraham Avinu was the wisest man that ever lived. And the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah, in page 14b, says something very interesting. It says that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov followed the entire Torah. This is in the Gemara Masechet Yoma. It says that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov followed the entire Torah. But there were certain things they would do in order to violate Shabbat because it wasn't gifted to them yet. It was only gifted in Mount Sinai. But as far as Torah, they had access to the entire Torah. In fact, access to much more than what we have today. So the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah, page 14, says that Avraham Avinu had also a Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah. Just like we have today, Gemara, Tractate Avodah Zarah. If you're using a Hebrew version, it's just one book. If you're using the Art Scroll version, it's 2 books. But in essence, it's 5 chapters. It's 5 chapters. Very detailed, beautiful Gemara, mamash, a little piece of Gan Eden. But Avraham Avinu's Gemara, he didn't have 5 chapters. What did it have? No less than 400 chapters. Meaning his tractate of Avodah Zarah was bigger than all of our tractates put together. So now the Chachamim say, wait a minute, hold on a second. How many different forms of Avodah Zarah were there? All this idolatry, okay, so there's statue. Okay, so we know all the halachot of how to run away from statues. Okay, so there's a statue with a big nose, statue with a small nose, statue with legs, statue without legs. There's Buddha, there's Shmuda, there's a cow, there's the mouse, there's, okay, how many? 400 chapters? How many of these things can you have? Only a full thinks that the entire tractate of Avodah Zarah was about Avodah Zarah like statues. What does it mean if you think that? That means you never read Masechet Avodah Zarah that we actually have. What is actually in the tractate Avodah Zarah that we have today? There has some things about idolatry that you know and so on and so forth. But the vast majority of this tractate is about idolatry of how our character traits are managed. Specifically, pride. The entire tractate of 400 chapters that Avraham Avinu had was all of the different forms of pride that a human being can have. What could he possibly be proud about? Money, looks, weight, height, different types of achievements, and so on and so forth. All of the different flaws of a human being. Now, Rabbi Chizda says in the Gemara that Avraham Avinu knew all 400 chapters cold. Like you know the back of your hand. That's the other side that you're not holding your phone. But we don't even know the 5 chapters that we have. We're confused. That's what Rabbi Chizda said almost 2,000 years ago. Why? because we still see many of us, almost all of us, are proud about something. All of us are arrogant about something. All of us have a little bit, some more, some less, all of us. Meaning that we don't even know how to use what we have. The 5 chapters, we don't even know how to use. Avraham Avinu, 400 chapters. Knew the whole thing. Now, the Mesilat Yesharim, the Ramchal, writes in chapter 11 of the Mesilat Yesharim that what is really pride? Pride is when a person takes themselves seriously to the extent where they actually believe that they're worthy of praise and recognition. Meaning they believe that people should give them a special hello. Hello, sir, how are you? Give them a seat. Say Chazaku Baruch. Give them all types of kabod. They actually believe they deserve this. That's a person that's proud. Now, some people think this because they're smart, they have intellect, they have a high IQ. Some because they're handsome or she's pretty. Some because they're distinguished, they have a certain position in the world, whether it be in government or company and so on. Some because of their wisdom, they read a lot of books. Different reasons, the Mesilat Yesharim says. Now, there are 3 specific types of people that the Mesilat Yesharim highlights. He says there's one person that their mannerism of how you see that they're proud people, that they're arrogant, is that they actually change their natural behavior in order to make impressions on other people. So, for example, they walk extra slowly, as if they're elevated, as if they're walking on some cloud. Or they speak extra slowly. Like there's this one rabbi that has a lot of YouTube videos, and he knows a few things, but I cannot stand listening to him for more than 5 seconds. Why? It's just literally unbearable. He speaks so slowly, you think he might start going reverse. The only way you can listen, somebody sent me one of his lectures recently. He says, listen, he didn't know that I know who this person is. He says, listen, you probably want to do yourself a favor and put it on 1.5 speed or 2.5 speed. Why? To speed up, because or else it's unbearable. It's not just me, my opinion. He speaks so slowly and in such a way that you would think he's speaking in front of a bunch of retarded, deaf people that don't understand anything. And he pronounces every syllable just to make sure. And this is the whole speech for a half hour. And it's like, you want to put like an electric system, it's like, wake up! Nothing. There's out. But this, Rabotai, it's not the way he talks. Why? Because I saw him talk in another place. He doesn't talk like that. I heard him, he talks normally. He talks like a regular person. Maybe he's not as passionate and as theatrical as I am. Nobody necessarily needs to be. But he talks normal. But in his lectures, he speaks so slowly that you want to shoot yourself by the time you finish the message. This comes from pride. Nowhere else. It has nothing to do with helping people understand. It has nothing to do with a certain pronunciations or the subject. It's simply from pride. It's somebody taking themselves too seriously and thinking their information, their words, their message is so critical, you must listen to every word of it. So I'll speak extra slowly because you're stupider than I am, and therefore I need to speak to you at your low level. That's the mentality of this proud person. And you think he's the only one? It's countless people like him. Countless people like him. Sometimes certain people, you see them, they walk extra slowly as if they're elevated, taking one step as if they're crawling. This also, it's not because of some physical issue. It's because they're next to a certain company. They have the rabbi next to them or some businessman next to them, and they just want to, they just walk for a half hour. This is how much they walked. What? This mannerism is them trying to portray what they believe is dignified. The British are very good at this.
But so are other people that are extremely arrogant. Not necessarily all of the British are, but the point is, you get the message. Now, the whole point of all of this is to arouse your attention. Wow, look how clear he speaks. I understand every word because it took 5 minutes to say it. Wow, look how he walks. He seems like he's at such peace, as if he's above all of us. That's the point. That's what he wants you to think. That's what she wants you to think. Now, they teach little girls to do this. What? They put them at a table. I don't know if they still do this, but I believe that at least the rich, some at least, still do this, where they tell the little girl, you have to sit and you have to have the 3 forks here, and the 18 spoons here, and the 17 plates here, and you cannot eat from this plate that's more efficient and convenient. You have to eat from that plate, from below it. But you cannot use this fork for that. Why? Because that would just simply make sense. You have to use the 3rd fork down the aisle. And so on and so forth. In essence, what are they teaching this little 5-year-old? Be dignified. Be dignified. You have to portray a certain thing. Now, of course, modest is very important in Judaism, but this has nothing to do with modesty. This has to do with portray a certain image. Because chas v'shalom, somebody would see you and say, oh, no, she cannot be the queen's daughter. She cannot be the king's daughter. She cannot be this rich person's daughter. No way. This is like a gangster. Why? Because she eats with the 2nd fork, not the 1st one. She's a thug. She's probably in the Wu-Tang Clan, maybe. Going to start busting some rhymes over here. Why? Because she ate with the 2nd fork. Cannot be. She's a butcher's son. This whole dignity nonsense all comes from arrogance. They teach this to little kids. They teach this to adults. I remember guys that worked for me in Wall Street. And when they first came to me, I had to sometimes help them get a suit because they didn't have any money. I told them, listen, you don't necessarily have to wear a suit. Just wear a dress shirt and dress pants. I'm assuming you have that. If you don't, I'll give you $50 or $100 or whatever it takes to just go buy it. Most people have at least one dress shirt, one dress pants. Some people, they had a suit. But as soon as they start making a few shekels, they got $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for the month. All of a sudden, the tailor has to come in. All of a sudden, the tie, they're not going to wear the tie that's $9.99 and down the street, $5 from the guy in the street. No. It has to be Gucci. It has to be Fendi. It has to be Amalek. It has to be somebody what cannot wear the clothes of the commoners. Cannot be associated. Why? Because you made $20,000 last month. By the way, I'm the one that wrote the check. You know that, right? It's not about fit. It's about, he has to be dignified. I remember these 3 guys that tortured me, worked for me, but tortured me during the time. Baruch Hashem. Hopefully they do tshuva one day. And these 3 guys, once they made a few dollars, by the way, from a business that I gave them, they decided they want to go and take a special lunch a couple of times a week. Why? To go to this special high-line restaurant that all the high rollers go to. And they all would get dressed extra special during that day. 3-piece suit, a tie from, I don't know, from Gehenom or heaven, I'm not really sure. Someplace this tie. And everybody looked, hey, cuz this, that. You would think they're all runway models. What happened today? No, none of them worked the whole day. They all just waited for 12 o'clock. Why? That's when they leave the office to go have lunch. And spend $300-$400 each on some non-kosher meat or something. Why? To show off, to pretend like we're much more important than what we really are. Dignified. This all comes from pride. And the pride comes before the fall. So this is obvious pride, obvious and disgusting arrogance. And unfortunately, you could find it in every room, in every shul, in every company, in every office, and practically in every house. Somebody is like this. Second type of pride the Mesilat Yesharim mentions is the exact opposite. Is a person that demonstrates their pride by being simply a terror to the world, agitating everyone around them in the most insulting way possible, and driving people crazy. As soon as the waiter comes and the suit or the soup is not hot enough, it's not 92 degrees exactly, it's 89 and a half, he makes a scene like you just gave him a cheeseburger from McDonald's. Huh? I'm a customer here. Well, how dare you? You give me this kind of soup. He starts throwing the soup in the guy's face, embarrassing him. Why? Because the soup is a little bit warm. It's not hot. Or, no, you gave him the wrong wine. You gave him the $9.99 wine, not the $900 wine. What do you think? I'm some poor schmo. I'm a very important guy. I'm a this. You give me this wine. What kind of wine is this? You give this to homeless people. And he starts embarrassing the guy because he gave him this type of wine. One time, I had this cuckoo guy. Drive me crazy. And a religious guy. And a young kid that one day decided that he wants to tell me how he feels. He used to come to my house. I used to give him and his brothers chizuk. Young kid, maybe 18, 19 years old. And one day he decides to send me a message and tell me how he is certain that chazaku baruch for what you're doing, but you know, you're not really at my level, he tells me. Chazaku baruch, you're doing all these lectures for people. Good job, good for you, but you know, you're not really at my level of what I know in Torah. Did I ask you? Did I not ask? Look, even if you are, why are you sharing it? Now, I deal with a lot of cuckoos in my life. Baruch Hashem, I have like a magnet for cuckoo people. So, I let it go. He continued. He didn't get the attention he wanted. He thought I was going to start fighting him, debating him. Who's smarter? Who's stupider? Who looks like a monkey? No, he wants me to waste my time with this guy. He continued, kept sending me like mamash, like one message after another. And eventually, I told him to leave me alone in my own way. And he decided that he's going to come to my house with his friend. To offer a peace. So they came to my house. Sonny was meeting, God bless him. Came to my house, and they came with a cake. Listen, and they tell me, I open the door. First of all, I don't like anybody showing up to my house uninvited. I just don't like it. I don't know, maybe you're a terrorist, maybe not. I'm busy anyway. Why are you forcing me to talk to you? Make an appointment. Or better yet, don't call me at all. It's better, either one is good. Well, you're showing up after you insulted me for no reason whatsoever. You're showing up at my house? Oh, Baruch haba. So he shows up to my house with his friend, this other cuckoo, that they come up with a cake. Like, I don't have food in my house. So they come with a cake, and I say, yes, how can I help you? And no, we just want to make sure everything's cool between us. We're good, this, that. I said, oh, okay, fine. And he's about to give me the cake. And his friend says, no, it's just that he just wanted to make sure that you know. I mean, in his opinion, he just knows a lot more Torah than you. I said, Ishtabach Shimo La'ah. This is so special. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending me a message. Number one, to calm my nerves down. I'm not so special after all. There's somebody more special than me. But two, this guy actually, like, he believes this stuff. He believes this whole thing, this whole craziness. And he came especially an hour and a half drive. Went to go get a cake just to tell me that he knows more than I do. His little 18, 19-year-old little body. Well, actually, he's big. His friend was little. So he was about to give me the cake. I returned the cake. I said, thank you for the cake. You can think what you want, but please just leave me alone. Go on your way. Leave me alone. And it continued. I just closed the door. Bye-bye. I have a life to live. So now, this wasn't enough. I tell you, if I tell you all the stories I have in my life, you make 500 movies. It's just such special people I meet. So now, I actually, at some point, introduced him to my rabbi. I introduced him to Rabbi Ephraim. I actually let him go to, made the appointment and all that stuff. He went to Rabbi Ephraim's house. So he had the contact information of Rabbi Ephraim. So he called Rabbi Ephraim. And he tells Rabbi Ephraim he's like, listen, I just wanted to explain to Yaron that I just know more than him. That's it. I don't understand why you make such a big deal out of it. Fine, he deals also with more cuckoo people than I do. And he says, okay, fine, whatever you want. He goes, no. He says, listen, Rabbi, this is what he tells me. He tells me word for word. He goes, Rabbi, don't look at me like I'm a regular person. He tells Rabbi Reuven this. He goes, don't look at me like I'm a regular person. I'm not a regular person. All the Gedolei Hador in America and Israel, they call me. Before they do a psak halakha, they ask me questions. And he starts dropping names, as if the people know he exists. Why? He actually believes this stuff. So after that, Rabbi Chaim says, listen, you have to forgive him. He's a shotei, misken. He's just a crazy person. But these people exist. They lie to themselves so much, they start believing it. Now, some people drive people crazy with things like this. Some people drive people crazy by insulting them in public. You'll see somebody that makes any small little thing into a big thing just to get the public's attention. If the guy at the register doesn't give him the coffee with milk in it or something small, something ridiculous, they make a whole big stink about it. The phone company overcharged them. Oh, wow, misken, the guy that actually answers the phone, the customer service that answers the phone, they yell at him, they curse his mother, his father, everybody they curse. Why? As if he's at fault for overcharging him on the phone bill. They ordered something from some website, the wrong thing came in the mail. Oh, wow, whoever answers the phone has to be the korban, has to be the sacrifice. Has to be. Why? It has to be his fault. Why? Because they have to express their heroes. And the best ones of all are the keyboard warriors. The guys and the girls of the internet. All geniuses. Everyone, one after another. You'll see them in my comments all the time. They make all types of nice comments. And they start having debates. There's a lecture going on, but they're having debates amongst each other. Why are you watching the lecture? Go have a debate with somebody else. And they debate, and they start fighting with people on the internet and making all types of ridiculous remarks. They want to make sure that the world hears their strong and valuable opinion. This all comes from pride. All of it. Every single word of it, every single ounce of it, it all comes from pride because people love to hear themselves speak. Love to hear themselves speak. And are certain they are right even when they're proven wrong. And they want to make sure that everybody knows it. The third type is a person that the Ramchal says thinks that he is already so invested with honor that honor is inseparable from them. And to impress this upon other people, he starts conducting himself or herself in a humble way like humble people. Meaning he pretends to be a tzaddik. She pretends to be a tzaddikah. So they read a book and they heard that, when a tzaddikim would walk around, they'd walk with their head down. Why? Because they want to protect their eyes. This guy just did Teshuva 3 months ago already. He's like this. He walks like an old man. Moshe Feinstein, 90 years old, walk like this. He's 25. What happened? Why? Is something wrong with your back? No. It's just my humility. You don't understand. What? What's the matter with you? People like this. They pretend. There was one guy, true story. Rav Mizrahi told me this story. So there was one guy that witnessed this whole story. He says, one rabbi, friend of Rav Mizrahi's, says, one of the days he went to Bet Knesset or Bet Midrash, and he saw there's two Hasidim, they're walking, some guy, young guy, but with a nice long beard, and the guy has something covering his eyes. Like he can't see anything, so he needs two people to walk him. Zorro, but without the holes in the eyes. So the rabbi looks at this, kind of strange. One of the other rabbis says, you see that? Yeah, he goes, what's the story with this guy? He goes, that's my student. He says, what? He goes, yeah, it's my student. Can you believe it? How holy this guy is? 6 months Baal Tshuva. Says 6 months Baal Tshuva, this guy. Already, He's so holy, he doesn't want to see anything from the regular world. So he covers his eyes anytime he's outside. Anytime he's not in the Bet Midrash learning, he doesn't see anything. So he's so holy, he has two guys walking him. The rabbi that heard this, Talmid Chacham, he's been around the street for a little while. He says, that's your Talmid? 6 more months, I bet you he's going to be with a married woman. The rabbi got so offended. The guy that's a student got so offended. He goes, no, come on. How could you say this, my Talmid? No, I can't believe you. And he walked away. Got really upset about it. And didn't talk to him for 6 months. 6 months later, he comes back to him. And he says, how'd you know? Well, I know what? What happened? How'd you know? He goes, what? Were you a prophecy? You walk on Kodesh? He goes, I don't have anything. What do you want from me? What? I haven't talked to you in 6 months. He goes, how did you know he's going to be with a married woman? He goes, oh, that crazy guy with the Zorro outfit? He goes, yeah. He goes, how did you know? I said, listen, you cannot get to such a high level of kedusha no matter what in such a short period of time. Even Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get to that level of kedusha in 6 months. You think this yo-yo in 6 months is going to start covering his eyes? He's going to do what the Baal Shem Tov himself didn't do. A guy like that is hiding what's really inside him. What is inside him? The exact opposite. He looks at everything that moves. So in front of you guys, he pretends like he doesn't see. But when he goes and there's only 4 walls around him, he looks at all the garbage in the world. And eventually, the people that take him seriously will invite him into the home. Oh, you're tzaddik, you're tzaddik, you're tzaddik. And they'll feel comfortable that this tzaddik is alone with their wife. Why? Because you're tzaddik, he doesn't look at women. Perfect opportunity for this vulture to eat his prey. He said that's exactly what happened. He says there are a handful of women that he's been caught with. All of this comes from pride. A person pretending to be a lot more righteous than what they really are. Now, no one says that you do the opposite and start violating the Torah and start looking at every woman that moves and so on. But don't pretend that you're something that you're not. So, now the Gemara Masechet Yoma, on page 35, says something very, very interesting. And I have a chidush about it, BeEzrat Hashem. I believe it's emet. And it says the following. It says that there are 3 people that are going to be questioned in heaven when they arrive for judgment about why they did not learn Torah. One guy is a poor guy, doesn't have any money. One guy is rich, and one guy is handsome. And they're all going to be questioned in the Bet Din of heaven. First question, you arrive in Shemayim, how come you didn't learn Torah every day? And the Gemara goes and elaborates who, what, when, and how. And it says, first guy says, oh, I was poor. I didn't have any money. So I had to constantly do whatever I could to survive. So the Gemara says in heaven, they're going to respond to him, were you poorer than Hillel HaZaken? Were you poorer than Hillel HaZaken that every day would just make 1 coin, would spend half of it on his family, and the other half of it paying the guy, the bouncer at the Bet Midrash to let him in, because that was part of his support of Torah in the world. It's not that he had to pay a fee to get in and go learn, but as part of his contribution, he felt like he had to do this. Support Torah. So half went to Torah, half went to his family. And Hillel HaZaken, one day, it was snowing, so he couldn't do his job. He couldn't cut trees. So that day, the bouncer, the guy at the door, didn't let him in. Why? He didn't bring his contribution. Says, since I cannot learn, what did he do? He went and climbed the building, climbed the roof, laid down on the roof because there was a glass top. So he laid down on a glass top just so he could hear the words of the living God that his rabbis were saying. Shmaya Naftalion. Shmaya Naftalion, both of them, by the way, converts. Both of them converts. and he was listening to the Shiur Torah while he's on the roof. You talking to him or me? It's more productive. Now, so Hillel was listening to Shiur Torah while he's on the roof. Now, he was so into the Shiur Torah that he did not notice that it was even snowing. And that night was Friday night, was Shabbat, and it was the custom of the place, of the rabbis of Shmai and Naftalion, to learn Torah the whole night. All the way until it's sunlight. So after they finished learning, Shmaya looks at the sky and he said, usually there's light that comes into the Beit Midrash, but today's dark. And the same moment he did it, they both looked up and they saw that the glass has the image of a body on it. They both left the place, climbed the roof, and found the body. They heated him up, put some oil on him, resurrected him back to life, and says it's praiseworthy to violate Shabbat for his sake. Such a person that sacrifices life for Torah, praiseworthy. So in heaven, they're going to tell a person that was worried about money, and that's the excuse they want to use of why they learn Torah. It says, were you poorer than Hillel? Did you at least make as many sacrifices as Hillel to learn one Shiur Torah? Or did you talk on your phone during the Shiur the whole time? Which one did you do? So then the second person is going to be a guy that's rich. The guy that's rich is going to tell Shamayim, listen, Hashem blessed me with so much money. I had all these businesses to run. I had my construction company, I had my moving company, I had my this company, my that company, then I had my stock portfolio, my real estate portfolio, all the different things, da, 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 da. So many employees to deal with, there was no time to learn Torah. But I did a mitzvah. What did I do? I gave money to a Bet Midrash. I gave money to a kollel so they can learn for me. He thinks that's enough. He thinks that the Issachar and Zvulun is that you pretty much pay somebody to learn, and that absolves you from learning altogether. There's no thing that's further from the truth of that. Yes, you can have money contributed to a Talmid Chacham. Even on our website at BeEzrat Hashem, we have avrechim in Eretz Yisrael. We send the money every month. But that does not absolve you from learning. You still have to learn. Why? How are you going to know how to be a Jew without learning? How do you know how to halachot Shabbat without learning halachot Shabbat? How do you know the halachot of Rosh Hashanah without learning Rosh Hashanah? How are you going to know? Oh, you assume that he's going to learn for you and somehow it's going to magically appear in your brain? It doesn't work that way. You have to learn anyway. You're not going to learn full-time like this avrech that's learning 10, 12, 15, 20 hours a day, but you still got to learn a couple hours. So he's going to arrive in heaven thinking, no, I gave money to yeshivot. That's enough. They're going to say, wait. So you think that just because you had a lot of businesses, that absolves you from learning altogether? Did you have more businesses than Rabbi Elazar ben Charson? Who's Rabbi Elazar ben Charson? Rabbi Elazar ben Charson inherited 1,000 cities. 1,000 cities. Not companies, cities. 1,000 Aventuras. 1,000 Hollywood. 1,000. And each city had its own huge, massive boat that he owned. And one day, he was so rich that there's endless amount of employees, endless amount of servants, endless amount of money. One day he was carrying a sack with him to go to the Bet Midrash to bring them some food and to go learn with them. A few of his own employees stopped him and said, you look like a good employee. You're going to work for our master. Well, they didn't know he was him. They didn't know he's their boss because they never saw him before. It's like, you're a hard worker, you're going to work for our... Because somebody that's really rich in those days, he can, in essence, force certain people to work for him. Why? Because he's the master of the whole city. He's like a king. It's like, you look like a hard worker, you look strong, you're going to work for our master. And they didn't let him leave. He said, please, just let me go learn Torah. Just don't bother, just leave me alone. Let me go play Torah. learn Torah. He said, no, you have to work for him. He gave them a bunch of money without telling them he's their boss. Because he knew they're not going to believe him anyway. He just gave them a bunch of money. He goes, here's all the money. Give it to your master. Whatever you want to do. Please just let me go learn Torah. Let me go learn Torah. So they're going to ask this guy that's rich and use that as an excuse for not learning Torah. Were you richer than him? Did you have 1,000 cities? What did you have? 3 companies? Big deal. 4 companies? Ooh, what? Why, you were Bill Gates? You had $80 billion? Still not richer than him. Nobody in the world today has 1,000 cities. So, he was so rich that his employees never even saw him. They didn't even know what he looked like. But yet, he found day in, day out, time to learn an enormous amount of Torah and become one of the holy sages that we have in Am Yisrael. And then lastly, the Gemara says, what about the Rasha? What's the Rasha? The guy that was really handsome. Why was he a Rasha? Because he comes up to heaven and he says, listen, Hashem, you made me so beautiful. Every girl wanted to be with me. Such a handsome guy. My skin was shining. My skin was this. Every girl wanted my number. Every girl wanted to hang out with me for the weekend. So after, okay, Hashem, I protected myself, my breed, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I rejected the first 5 because they weren't really my type anyway. But anyway, I rejected them. But then number 6, you sent me Malkat Yofi. You sent me the beauty queen of the world. And then her friend and her daughter. I'm going to say no to all these people. So that's why I sinned, Hashem. So in heaven they're going to bring who? They're going to bring Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik was the most beautiful man that ever lived, right after Adam HaRishon. Yosef HaTzadik was so beautiful that his skin literally was shining, that when Eshet Potiphar would try to entice him, she would change her clothes in the morning and at night. She would never wear the same outfit twice. Constantly trying to convince him to sleep with her. Now, Eshet Potiphar wasn't exactly a gremlin. She was one of the 4 most beautiful women that ever lived. She was beautiful herself. And she was trying to convince Yosef HaTzadik to sleep with her. Now, one day, after he said, no, her friend saw that she's down a little bit. She says, what's the big deal? Why are you so down? Why? Because your servant doesn't want to be with you? She goes, you're just saying because you never saw him. I'll invite you to a party at my house, and you'll see him, and you tell me what you think. So the friend said, what's the big deal? So all the women were cutting different vegetables in the kitchen. And then Eshet Potiphar says, Yosef, please come here for a second. He's a servant. He doesn't know. So he comes. He comes, and all of the women look at him and continue cutting. And they're in such awe that they don't realize they started cutting their own fingers. That's how beautiful he was. That's how beautiful he was. Eshet Potiphar would change clothes twice a day. New outfits, new gown, new everything, just to entice him. And Yosef HaTzadik said no. So the Gemara says, how come he said no? He said no because he knew that if he lies with her in this world, he will have to be with her in the next world. The Gemara says, what does it mean? It says, any time a Jew sleeps with a non-Jew, she will be connected to him like a dog. They'll be together. Their neshamot are going to be connected in Gehenom together. She'll never leave him until he does serious tshuva, but he can only do tshuva in this world. He cannot do tshuva over there. Yosef knew this. He says, if I do one time with her, one time, not twice, not 3 times, not even get married, just one time, just to fulfill the sin, fulfill the desire. One time, she'll never leave me for eternity. Such is the magnitude of the sin. So this beautiful guy comes to heaven and says, listen, Hashem, you gave me all this looks, and I was muscular, I was fit, I was tall, this, that, all the things. Why you expect him not to sin? He starts looking at Yosef HaTzadik in heaven, and he starts realizing how much of a monkey he is next to Yosef HaTzadik. And yet Yosef HaTzadik never sinned even once. Now, that's the Gemara. What's the chidush? The chidush is the following. The root of the problem of all 3 sinners is the same exact thing. The guy that's poor, the guy that's rich, and the guy that's handsome all have the same root of the problem. What's that problem? Pride. Why pride? Because they all believe that their opinion is so valuable, heaven has to adjust to their opinion. The poor guy says, listen, Hashem made a mistake with me. He didn't give me enough money, so of course I don't have time to learn. The rich guy says, listen, Hashem gave me so much that who has time to learn? Obviously, he wants me to do something else. Yeah, he said, you have to learn Torah in the morning and at night, but he excluded me. The poor guy says he excluded me because I'm poor. The rich guy says Hashem excluded me from the Torah because I'm rich. The handsome guy says the sins exclude me because I'm beautiful. The Torah is true. It's 100% true. It's just not for me. It's for everybody else. It's for you homeless people. It's for you poor people. It's for you ugly people. It's for everybody else. It's not for me. That's the pride. That's what the pride of a person says. And that's a religious person. We're not talking about a secular heretic guy that's anti-God. We're talking about religious people in the Gemara. This is what the religious people's excuse is. If the guy was a poor guy that's also a kofar, it wouldn't be an example. Why? Because it says the guy didn't learn Torah because he was a kofar, he was a heretic. No, meaning that the guy's religious, he keeps Shabbat. The guy that's rich, he keeps Shabbat. The guy that's handsome, he keeps Shabbat, he even went to yeshiva. But he figures that you can go to yeshiva, but have a girlfriend too. What's the problem? Because, in this generation we're so lowly, you're allowed to have girlfriends. Because the modern Orthodox rabbi said so. He even allows boys and girls to go to the same school. And there's even a video on the internet right now of a so-called Chabad Rebbitzin, Chabad Rebbitzin. She's hugging the boys and the girls. The sin became so common, it's as if it's allowed. But the Rebbitzin is hugging the boys. Little 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old boys. She's hugging them. Now, a non-Jew says, what's the problem with the teacher hugging the kids? Isn't that a good thing? For you, maybe, but not for Jewish people. Why? Because we're not supposed to do that. As soon as the woman touches the man, you have a very serious problem. Why? He's not our son. He's going to have certain thoughts in his head. His little 13, 14, 15-year-old brain is going to start thinking, oh, maybe she likes me. Maybe she's going to leave the rabbi and be with me. All crazy thoughts. And what's going to lead them to do? Hashem Erachem. But how did this all start? It all started with the pride that they thought, listen, even though our tradition says that boys go to one school and girls go to one school, it's not really applicable to our generation. We're just going to put them in the same school, in the same class. It'll make it more affordable. Yeah, but the Chachamim say no. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says no. The Chafetz Chaim says no. The Steipler Gaon says no. Alacha says no. Boys and girls don't go to the same class. No, but they were talking about 2,000 years before us. So the pride of a person makes him think that you could change the Torah and customize it because you are a special generation. So what happens later? Since it's customized over there, you'll customize it later on. By now, the Rebbitzin is allowed to hug and kiss little kids. Boys, girls, doesn't make a difference. Because why? Because that's what the Goyim do also. There's many videos of the Goyim in every part of the world where their teachers hug and kiss them. And people admire it, and there's millions and millions of views. So the Jews now think they can be like them. Ivelet Adam tesalef darko ve'al Adonai yiz'af libo. Shlomo HaMelech says, the stupidity of man makes him sin against Hashem, and then he gets mad at Hashem for punishing him. So, the Gemara explains to us that the root of all sin is this pride. Now, the Rambam wrote that it's impossible to not have pride, meaning it's impossible to be humble without Torah. Simply because you will never know how to do it, you will never even know how to identify that you are prideful. Most people do not see themselves as proud until they start dissecting their own character traits. Most people think it's perfectly fine to do what I'm doing because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And the Rambam writes it's impossible. And one of the examples that put this to the test is that there was a famous sheikh, famous Arab sheikh that came to town, and he was known as the most humble man in the world. Now obviously the Arabs don't have the Torah, and it was unusual to see a non-Jew, needless to say, a sheikh, known as humble person. So the Rambam decided, he's known as, I'm going to follow him. And he followed him for 3 days straight. Everywhere he went, he followed him. Why? Because this would put his own learning into question. Was I wrong? Was I wrong to say that it's impossible to be humble without Torah? If I'm wrong, then I have to rewrite certain things. I have to change things. I have to change my mind itself. It's not to prove somebody's wrong. It's to prove whether I'm wrong or not. So he started following the sheikh. He follows him from place to place, and this guy's a multi-billionaire. But yet, anytime he meets somebody, he starts washing their feet, like Avraham Avinu was washing the feet of the 3 visitors. He starts washing their feet. You're a billionaire. Get somebody to wash feet for something. You want to wash somebody's feet, wash them, but have somebody else do it. You're a billionaire. No, he's washing their feet. And he says, thank you, and this, and he's humble. After 3 days of following him, the Rambam is confused. Why? He's doing all the things that, he's telling every single person, I'm your servant, yes, master, yes, he's the master. But he tells everybody else, you're my master. Wow, very unusual. After 3 days, the sheikh comes to the house of the Rambam, and he says, Kvod Harav, I just wanted to say it was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm leaving town now, I'm going to my next destination, but I want to say goodbye to my master. And the Rambam says, very nice to meet you, very nice to meet you, Kol Tuv. Before he left, the sheikh says, but one question, Kvod Harav, one question. Isn't it true that you've never met anyone as humble as me? And the Rambam says, for sure, nobody like you. Nobody like you. Good thing. What happened at that point? He says, Baruch Hashem, Torato emet. Moshe emet, but Torato emet. Moshe is emet, is truth, and the Torah is truth. It's impossible to be humble without the Torah. So how is this guy washing people's feet and saying thank you and my master? It's all a show. Meaning, his expression of pride and arrogance is through his actions of pretending to be humble. Meaning, he's actually more proud and arrogant than everybody else by pretending to be the exact opposite. And sometimes you see this in religious communities, in Baal Tshuvas, in Frum from birth, all types of people, where people simply think that just because they know a certain halacha, or they know how to keep Shabbat, or they know how to read something, or they know a certain book, everybody else is beneath them. One time, somebody came to Rav Meir Eliyahu. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, alav shalom, one of the Gedolei Ador in the previous generation. He says, Kvod Harav, I want to take something on myself to, while I'm learning in the kollel all day, I want to wear tefillin the whole time, from morning to night. Learn over here, but I want to put on tefillin the whole day. Rav Mordechai Eliyahu was Kodesh Kodashim. He knew exactly who, what, when, and how was in his Bet Midrash, and he says, no, not for you. Just learn like everybody else, all the other avrechim, take the Gemara, take the Shulchan Aruch, whatever it is, and learn, not tefillin. So this guy says, no, but Kvod Harav. It says in the Gemara over here, and it says over here, he tells him all the different ma'alot, all the different significance of wearing a tefillin while you're learning. It's like you have Hashem's mind all the time. As if Rav Mordechai Eliyahu doesn't know. He says, listen, if you wear those tefillin, and one time in your life, one time, not every day, just once in your life, let's say over the next 70 years, one time in your life you have that tefillin, and you feel for a second, look at me, I'm wearing tefillin while I'm learning Gemara. Look at me, I'm wearing tefillin while I'm learning the poskim, I'm learning Chumash. What do these people have? These avrechim, these low lives. They don't have nothing. What do they have? Well, they're probably thinking about baseball in their head. They're probably thinking about lunch. He says, one time in your life, you feel pride because of this mitzvah that you're adding. All of the benefit that you would have gotten from wearing tefillin an entire life is not worth it. for one time of having pride. That's how detestable pride is in the eyes of Hashem. Wear tefillin as the part of the mitzvah in the morning. Obviously, everybody's obligated to do it. We're not talking about the obligation. We're talking about something you're adding as adding kedusha to your life. He says that kedusha, you're not fit for it yet. Why? Because at some point, you see, you have everybody in the room. You have 500 avrechim in the room. Everybody's learning, and you're the only one. It's natural for you at some point to think, I'm better than them. Why? There's 500 people here. I'm the only one wearing tefillin. He says, for that little bit of pride, don't wear it. Because it's not worth it. Now, this is because, Rabotai, Rav Mordechai Eliyahu knew exactly how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu detests, hates pride. I'm going to give you a few things that will give you an understanding of how much Hashem hates it. In Lekutei Maharan, Rabbi Nachman Breslov says that a prideful person will ultimately fall for adultery. And this comes from the Gemara, Masechet Sotah. Rabbi Nachman Breslov gets this from the Gemara, Masechet Sotah. It talks about how Hashem hates pride, and to such an extent that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that someone that's proud, he cannot live in the same world as him. Cannot coexist. Why? He thinks he's God and I am God. We cannot coexist. And Rabbi Eliezer says a proud person is perfectly fit for Hashem to chop him off like idolatry. He must destroy him at some point. Now, Rabbi Yochanan says that a person that's proud is considered disgusting in the eyes of Hashem. So much so that the Shekhinah cannot be there. And this, Rabbi Nachman elaborates where he says, because the Shekhinah is not there, number one, this person has no protection from heaven. If he has no protection from heaven against the Yetzer Hara, he can't beat the Yetzer Hara. So of course he's going to fall for the worst sin in the world, for adultery. He's going to be with a married woman. She's going to be with a married man. Why? Because they're so proud, they think, no, sin is not for me. It's for other people. So he's not going to have the protection of the Shekhinah. He's not going to have the protection of Hashem. Or better yet, he's so proud, she's so proud, she doesn't think that she's even subject to sin. No, I can hang out with my guy friend. We're not going to do anything. Yeah, but you're married. He's married. No, but we're only friends. We're platonic friends. Platonic relationship. More like atomic, not platonic. But no. Why? They're so proud, they don't think they're going to sin. Now this happens, Rabotai, very, very often. And that's actually why HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates arrogance. Because it leads to all of the worst possible sins. To such an extent that the Gemara says that someone that's proud, in the Gemara Masechet Sotah, page 4 and 5, talks about how a person that's proud is like as if he's worshiping an idol, the idol being himself. A person that's proud is as if he's violating the entire Torah and all of the sections of Arayot, all of the immorality crimes. A person that's proud, even if they fulfill the mitzvah of the highest level of tzedakah, they still have to go to Gehinnom because that tzedakah will not help them. So what's the highest level of tzedakah? There's traditional tzedakah. The giver knows the receiver. That's the lowest level of tzedakah. You see a homeless guy, you see somebody, here sir, here's $20, here's whatever it is. Okay? That's the lowest level. Higher level than that is if he doesn't know who you are. You give it anonymously. The highest level is you don't know who he is, and he doesn't know you're giving it to him. Meaning he's receiving it, but he doesn't know he's receiving it from you, and you're giving, but you don't know who you're giving it to. That's the highest level. The Gemara says the following. That level of tzedakah could literally break major judgments in heaven. But arrogance, it doesn't break. A person that has arrogance, even that level of tzedakah doesn't help them. They still have to go to Gehinnom. And it says that there are two daughters of Gehinnom. Who are these two daughters of Gehinnom? These two daughters of Gehinnom are are screaming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, have. Please give me, please give me. Give me what? What does it give me? Gehenom is a living thing. It's not some volcano with nothing there. And Gehenom says, listen, this guy, all his life, thought that everything needs to go his way. So he demanded things from everyone. Give me money because I'm smarter than you. Give me business because I'm better than you. Give me, give me, give me. Constantly demanded. So Gehenom cries out, says, look, this person was punished dearly for this type of behavior, for this type of arrogance that led him to heresy, that led him to immorality, that led him to idolatry. So Gehenom says, everyone had their fair share of torturing this neshama that went against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Give me my share now. Have. It cries to Hashem, now I want my piece. Why? I've been waiting for this guy for 70 years to have my fair share out of him. This is Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah, page 17a, for anyone who doesn't believe. So, it's a very interesting sipur about a chassid by the name of Rabbi Moshe Mordechai Milelo. Rabbi Moshe Mordechai Milelo was a Baal Yeshuot miracle worker. Famous chassid, the Baba Sali Alav Shalom, would send many people to him. Such was the respect between the two. Now one time, there was Purim, and all of the Hasidim of Rabbi Mordechai were there. And one of the Hasidim got drunk. Before the meal, not during the meal. Before the meal, he already got drunk. So drunk, he was laying down under the table. Under the chair, right next to Rabbi Mordechai. Another guy was sitting next to Rabbi Mordechai. Filthy rich Hasid. Had a lot of money. And he saw this Hasid that was drunk, a mess, under the table, that he kicked him in disgust. Not like hurt him, but he kicked him like, disgusting. That's how you behave next to the Rebbe. Filth. That moment, Rabbi Mordechai got up, left, went to his room. So the Hasidim waited for a little while, didn't know what happened. But after a little while, they said, so what's going on with the Rebbe? They went inside, said, Rebbe, everything okay? Didn't respond. He goes, Rebbe, there's hundreds of people came from all over the world to have the tish with the Rebbe, the Suda for Purim, because I can't come. Goes, everything okay, Rebbe? He goes, I cannot come, please. Have it without me. He goes, no, Rebbe, hundreds of people are here for you, please. No, what happened? What happened? He says, I can't come until I remove the anger that has filled my heart. Anger filled the Rebbe's heart. He says, only two types of people. Only two types of people put me in a state where my heart is full of anger. One is a person that does not protect their kedusha, someone that does not make sure to keep their brit, watch their eyes, maintain their holiness, and the other person is a proud person, an arrogant person. And until I remove this anger from my heart, I can't be next to people. Eventually, they let some time pass, the Rebbe calmed down and returned, and they had the tish. They had the lunch, they had the celebration, everything was good. The question is, Rabotai, what was he angry about? I mean, the guy that's a mess on the floor, okay, he's a mess on the floor. It's not the first or the last one. The guy that kicked him, okay, he kicked him. He didn't kick the Rebbe. What is he so enraged about? I mean, there's plenty of things to be mad about. You're mad about the political situation in the world, the financial situation in the world, the Torah situation in the world. There's plenty of things to be angry about. You're angry about this? Why? The answer is because the Rebbe understood that when a person is proud and arrogant, he's in essence rebelling against the king. He's rebelling against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is an enemy of Hashem. How could you not be angry when you see there's an enemy of Hashem sitting right next to you? That's pretending to be a lover of Hashem. You're seeing somebody that's mored b'malchut, that's rebelling against the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the King of Kings, sitting right next to you. It's not possible for you to stay the same. Now, Kadosh Baruch Hu hates pride so much that it says in Mishle, chapter 29, verse 23, Ga'avat Adam tashpilenu. The pride of man will lead to his fall. Meaning that Kadosh Baruch Hu has to break him. At some point or another, he has to break that proud person with what he was proud about. If it was his brain that he was proud about, he'll do what he did to Einstein. By never letting his brain ever rest, it's still being delivered from university to university till this day. Being cut up, it was cut up in Princeton, it went to different universities until this day. This brain that everyone admires is little pieces in different laboratories around the world. Or Titus, that was so proud of his strength, thought that he could escape Hashem. Hashem sent a little yatush, a little mosquito that entered his nose and started eating his brain for the next 7 years. By the time they opened up his head and killed him, the mosquito was the size of a dove. All of these proud people, at some point, HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished them very, very severely. Even if they have Torah, it's not going to help them. So much so that the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim says that even if he has some wisdom, he learned some Torah, but he's proud about it, he thinks that just because he knows something or she knows something and everybody else doesn't, oh, see, I told you, you did that, I told you, all that wisdom goes in the garbage. That knowledge that you had, that you tried to, that rebuke, you thought it was a mitzvah, it's not a rebuke anymore, it's not a mitzvah anymore, it's a sin. It was better off you didn't do anything. Sometimes people like to rebuke people and tell them the truth, not because they care about the other person keeping Shabbat, or keeping Tarat Mishpacha, or keeping any mitzvah. No, it has nothing to do with that. They want to say, I told you so. See, my rabbi told me the right things. Your rabbi is a homeless guy. Your rabbi is ignorant. Your rabbi is, should be in public school, your rabbi. Why? My rabbi told me the truth. Is your rabbi really a rabbi or is he a rabbanit? What is he? Maybe he's that same one that's hugging kids. What is this? See my rabbi, she's proud of a rabbi and he's throwing it in people's face. He's throwing it in people's face. See, I told you it's page 16. I told you it's not 17. It was better off you didn't learn the Gemara at all. It's better off you didn't learn anything. If you're going to be proud about it, better off you didn't learn it. Why? Because the Gemara says someone that's proud as a result of his knowledge, meaning he calls himself a chacham, nevela srucha tova mimenu. A dead animal in the middle of the street is better than him in the eyes of Hashem. Now, pride, the Gemara says, is one of the things that brings judgment to the entire world. That's how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates it. It's a very dangerous thing that unfortunately all of us at some point or another have failed. Most of us, myself especially, didn't even know that pride is a bad thing until I started doing Teshuva. So what do you mean? Of course I should be proud. I am better than everybody else. I am smarter than him, and him. I am richer than him. He works for me. Why? I shouldn't be proud about that? I didn't think there's anything wrong with being proud. Why? It's right. He has nothing. I have a lot. So why shouldn't I be proud? He's, I don't know, one level above the monkey. I'm, Baruch Hashem, a few evolutions after, no? He's this, he's that. You start comparing everybody. He's like, how could I not be proud? Why? Because you think you did it. You think you made the money. You think you put your brain inside your head. You think you're the one that came up with the thought. You give credit for everything that is in your life to yourself. In essence, you make yourself into a god. And the Gemara in Yerushalmi and also in the Zohar Kadosh says something extremely scary. It says that there are such people that are religious and rich at the same time. And they decide that they want to do something big. They want to build a Bet Knesset. They want to build a Bet Midrash. They want to give $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, 10, big money to bring more Torah to the world. But part of the conditions is to put their name on it. They want to donate and buy an aliyah on Yom Kippur, on Rosh Hashanah. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. While it was quiet, they didn't even go to shul sometimes. But they didn't donate sometimes. But on Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, when the entire community is in a shul, all of a sudden he's the Gvir of the world. 50, 100, 200. He wants to make sure. No, it was me, not him. It's me, I put it. My bid, 50,000, here. Reuven, yeah. Me. The Zohar Kadosh says, the people that give tzedakah because they want people to know, because they are proud, because they're arrogant, because they want to put their name on it. They donate a chandelier just so there's a little sign under the chandelier that says donated by the family of such and such. They donate a door or a building or a book to make sure everybody knows they did it. Just don't make sure. Don't think he did it. I did it. My family, for the schut of my grandmother's neighbor's cousin. I did it. And this one and that one. The Gemara says something scary. The Zohar says something scary. What does it say? It says these people are the same people that said, ויאמרו הבה נבנה לנו עיר ומגדל וראשו בשמיים ונעשה לנו שם. Come, let us build a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Who are these people that say, let us make a name for ourselves? These, Rabotai Karim, was the generation of the Tower of Babel. A people that were enemies of Hashem, that wanted to build a tower to reach the heavens and go to war with Hashem. Let's build a tower so we can reach the heavens and then kill God. That's how we can make ourselves a name. The Gemara says the people that donate for the sake of having their name out there, same people. Just like Hashem destroyed the people of the Tower of Babel, confused them, turned some of them into monkeys, different languages, and so on and so forth. Same thing is going to happen to those people. Because their Torah, their mitzvot, their tzedakah is all going to the sitra achra. It's all going to the side of tum'ah, of impurity. And the reason why is because idolatry, the Gemara says, idolatry creates tum'ah, creates impurity. Just like idolatry creates impurity, gava creates impurity. Meaning, the minute he walks into this fancy shmancy bet midrash that he donates, the whole place is tameh. He comes to the shul with his, bodyguards. He's tameh. The whole place is tameh. He's bringing tum'ah to the place, not kedusha. He's like a klipa of the keilah. He's not something that's an additional. She's not adding anything. Like this woman from Europe thought she was going to do something big. Thought that she's going to do something chidush Hashem. Why? Because she donated. Her husband donated a lot of money to Batei Midrashot in Israel, around the world, and so on. So when the church of idolatry was burned down to the ground, and all of us were supposed to celebrate a big chidush Hashem that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is destroying a building full of idolatry for the last few hundred years, a place that destroyed thousands and thousands of copies of Gemara, what did this moron do, Jewish woman? She donated $100 million to rebuild it. She donated $100 million to rebuild it, rebuild idolatry. In the name of what? In the name of gava, of shtuyot, all the garbage that's in our head. Her and her friend, another friend, each donated huge sums of money. You have avrechim, chidushim, that the whole world is alive because of them, don't have food to eat. But she's going to donate hundreds of millions of dollars to a church. What? It was a beautiful sight. Meaning, all of the tzedakah that she has given her entire life, all of it is worth zero. Zero. All of what she gave, even if it was meant for mitzvah originally, now it's uncovered that it was all had nothing to do with holiness. All of it has nothing to do with Torah. It just has to do with pride. She donated, and her husband donated to the yeshiva, not because she cares about Torah and mitzvot. She cares that her name is going to be on the building. And unfortunately, her name and her husband's name is on many buildings. Because that's, Rabotai, how the Yetzer Hara fools us to think that just because somebody donates money, they're automatically holy. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you, it's going to affect every one of us over these next couple of weeks. The Batei Knesset today, unfortunately, are not exactly always run by tzaddikim. There's one organization that has a fundraiser. Doesn't have a date or a time of when they're raising the fund, but they're raising a lot of money to build a new Bet Midrash. It's on their website. I looked at it yesterday, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Honestly, if I didn't see it and somebody told me the story, I wouldn't believe it. The campaign is to build a big Bet Midrash. It's a very wealthy organization with very wealthy members. And now they want to build another big Bet Midrash. More people to learn, more kedusha, more Torah. It's good, right? What's the name of the campaign? Make yourself a name. That's the name of the campaign. Make yourself a name. Donate, make yourself a name. Who said make myself a name? Dora Palaga. Tower of Babel. So this is, mamash, it's the Yetzer Hara right in front of you, but you're looking behind him as if he's not there. Same exact thing is happening in many Batei Knesset. Right now, many Batei Knesset are inviting different chazanim, different baalei koreh, different people that are going to be the cantors during the holidays. Someone with a nice voice, knows how to pray nicely, touch people's emotion, a few songs. Now, the Shulchan Aruch is very critical about chazanut. The Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim 53, Halakha number 1, gives a very big rebuke to a cantor, to a chazan, saying that this chazan, this cantor, should stand before Hashem in fear and awe, full of trepidation. But if his purpose is to show his beautiful voice and his heart rejoices because of his skills, he is considered repulsive by Hashem. He's considered disgusting. How disgusting? Okay, so he's disgusting Hashem. Why is that my problem? I just go to shul. I'm just praying. Gemara, Masechet Ta'anit, page 16b, says something very interesting. It uses a pasuk from the Torah. The Kadosh Baruch Hu speaks to the people and he says, my inheritance, meaning the Jewish people, was to me like a lion in a forest. She gave her voice against me, and therefore I hated her. So the Gemara says, well, what does it mean? What does this analogy, a parable, if you will, mean that she gave her voice against me? And the sages say, Mar Zutra Bar Tovia says, in the name of Rabbi Chama, in the name of Rabbi Elazar, it says that Zeh shliach tzibur hayored lifnei hateva she'eno agun. This part of the verse is referring to the cantor, to the chazan, to the shliach tzibur that's praying on behalf of everyone, who's unfit, but nevertheless was chosen by the keilah, by the community, to lead the prayer because of his beautiful voice. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is criticizing the entire congregation for sending a wicked person to lead them in their prayers to him. And the Maharsha says, if this person is not righteous, does not have Yirat Shamayim, and all he has is a beautiful voice, instead of bringing goodness, salvation, mercy, and forgiveness from Hashem to the Keilah, instead Hashem curses the entire Keilah. Why? He says, I hate all of them. Look who they're bringing to me. Look who's representing them. This repulsive person. Meaning that if you're in one of these Batei Knesset that's just picking chazanim because they have a nice voice, like there's a place next to me, next to my house, huge place, every year they get the same guy. Every year they get the same guy to be the chazan. I don't think the guy even keeps Shabbat. Now, first of all, kippah only sometimes. That doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't keep Shabbat. What indicates that he doesn't keep Shabbat? Because I know for sure, firsthand, he tried to pick up a married woman at a wedding. He was the chazan in a wedding, and he tried to pick up a married woman. He said, hey, wait, hold on a second, Rabbi, don't judge, you know, kav zchut. Maybe he didn't know she's married because she wore a nice long wig. No, she actually wore chidush. Meaning, you have to be blind, dumb, or stupid to know that she's not married. She has a chidush. And he tried picking her up. Rasha Mirusha. And he's a chazan every year at this Bet Knesset. Every year. A person like that, you go to that Bet Knesset, guarantee you have a miserable year. Why? This is your representative. So that's why sometimes it's better to go to the smaller places that don't even have a budget to hire somebody famous, hire somebody this, unless that person is tzaddik, unless that person is Yirat Shamayim. Why? Because if you're going to go to such a place, Rabotai, it's very, very dangerous. You could literally go to a place and you're trying to do tshuva, but because the keilah, the community, picked this chazan, you wasted your time. That's how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates pride. He literally despises it. To such an extent that he says someone that's prideful is as if he is my enemy. He's rebelling against me. So this is very, very important for each one of us to delve on and try analyzing ourselves. Where are we proud? Every one of us is proud about something. You have a certain amount of knowledge and you want to help somebody do tshuva because of your knowledge. Are you doing it the right way? Or are you telling people, I told you so? When you sent him the video that proved them wrong about a certain halakha, were you happy that he found out the truth and now he's going to do tshuva? Or you were happy that you proved them wrong and you knew it and he didn't? If it's the second, it's better off you don't send anything. Let him continue doing what he does. It's better he doesn't sin. Why? Because you're a walking chilul Hashem. I have many people tell me, I keep sending it to people, these idiots don't listen. I said, don't listen, don't send them anything. If that's the way you look at people because they're not following the same thing as you, they don't know as you, and you're calling them this, don't send them. Why? You're not the vessel. I have one guy blames his community. It's like, this community is full of reshaim, they're all wicked, they're all the worst people. They're the reason I keep wasting seed. What? How? What? They're going in your pants? They're forcing your hand? What's the matter with you? Meaning people are so proud at their own little bit of knowledge that they have, that in essence, what do? They start blaming everybody else around them for their sins. It's their fault I don't have money. It's their fault I'm wasting seed. It's their fault I'm doing this. It's their fault I'm not married. Meaning that your pride is so big, it literally became another person. And you could literally live your entire life being the most arrogant, disgusting human being you know without even knowing it. You're thinking you're going to Gan Eden and Hashem is creating a whole new chamber just for you in Gehenom. Why? Because even the Torah that you learned wasn't for the sake of Torah. It was for the sake of proving other people wrong. That means you didn't care about their precious neshama. You didn't care about the fact that they're God's child. You didn't care about the fact that this will help their life in this world and the next. All you cared about is that you are right and they are wrong, and ha ha ha, told you so. If you're that person, better off you just quiet, work on yourself. Better off you never talk again. Go become mute. Go tani dibuk for the rest of your life. Why? Of course Hashem is not going to use you as a vessel. And that, Rabotai Yekarim, goes back to our beginning of our conversation. Even though many of the people within the religious community are, Baruch Hashem, very righteous, they learn Torah, they fulfill mitzvot, some of them are in the government bodies, whether it's Gimel or Shas or wherever it is, all these different places, there are a few decent people, tzaddikim. But unfortunately, the representatives, the people sometimes that are pulling the strings, or the people that are pushing the strings, or whatever it is, unfortunately, they have too much pride. How do you know without even knowing them personally? Look at what's happening. First and foremost, no one else is good enough to be next to them. They can't be part of another religious party. They have to have their own, they have to have their own. It's not enough. If he's wearing a stremo, no, he's not like us. If he's not Sephardi, he's not like us. If he's not Ashkenazi, he's not like us. If he's not this, he's not good. He's not good enough. He's not Jewish enough. That means that your way or the highway. In essence, you made your own religion, but you call it Judaism also. You know, you go to the flea market, some people wear, they sell sneakers. I know in the old days, I used to work in a flea market when I was a kid, and you sell sneakers. And you want to get these sneakers, and it looks kind of cool, but then you see, oh, Mikey. Wait, is there a misspell? Why is it Mikey? It's Nike. Because no, this is the Mikey brand. And you go, you buy this sneaker, you go to school, you're all happy, you got a little kid with little Mikey sneakers, but you think it's Nike. Everybody starts making fun of you. Hey, Mike, what's up? I'm like, no, it's Yaron. He goes, no, Mike, what's up? What Mike? What Mike? He goes, no, you're wearing fake Nikes. He goes, no, it's real. The guy told me it's real. He goes, hey, real. In your dreams, it's real. Same thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us. Your religiosity, fake. Why? If you have pride, if you're only telling people, I told you so, and it's your way or the highway, it's wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that people are allowed to violate Shabbat or violate the Torah. I'm talking about customs. Customs are not halacha. Halacha is halacha. Meat and milk is never allowed. Driving on Shabbat, never allowed. Eshet ish, never allowed. Kashrut has to be kashrut. The difficulties and the fights between the communities has nothing to do with halacha, really. It has to do with customs. Wear a hat, don't wear a hat, wear a long jacket, short jacket, have a beard, no beard, groom the beard, no beard, big nose, small nose, all types of nonsense that has nothing to do with the Shulchan Aruch, has nothing to do with the Torah. Oh, we can't invite you to our community. Why not? Oh, you rebuke too much. I said, the Torah rebukes too much. Go complain to God. Every parasha rebukes. Look at this week's parasha. If you didn't cry at the end of the parasha, you should check your pulse or your reading skills. Why? This parasha tells us if we do not do tshuva, Hashem yirachem aleinu, what kind of punishments we're going to get as a nation. Starvation to the point of people going to eat their own kids. What do you think? Hashem is joking? If he wrote it in the Torah, that means it's going to happen, and it's happened. This is what happened during the Holocaust. This is what happened during the Beit HaMikdash, the first and the second one. Hashem is not joking, even though we think we're joking. He's joking. Why? Because we're so proud that we think, no. Hashem did that to everyone else, but we're a special generation. So he won't do it to us. Where does that logic come from? Pride. It comes from pride. Why is there a different units of religious parties in Israel? Pride. Why does everybody want to build a new Beit Knesset, but no one wants to contribute to the local Beit Knesset and build it up? Pride. This Beit Knesset is not good enough for me. I'm going to build my own Beit Knesset so it has my own name on it. Wait, but if you already have money and there's already a Beit Knesset here for 25 years, why don't you just use that money to make this existing Beit Knesset bigger? No, it's not my way. Why not? Why not? So do you care about the Beit Knesset or the name? If it's the name, then who needs your mitzvah? This is happening everywhere. I had a friend of mine, works for a Jewish organization. This organization is blessed with money. I mean, so much so, they literally raise tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions every year like clockwork. With the amount of money they have, you could literally build a new nation. Huge money. He sends me an email. I haven't spoken to him in a while. And he says to me something that on one hand made me feel, oh, well, he's such a nice guy. But on the other hand, I wanted to cry. Why? He says, Chazaku Baruch, for all the amazing work that you're doing. I haven't talked to him in a while. Just sent me, just a surprise message. Oh, no, Chazaku Baruch, somebody's noticing my work. Baruch Hashem, Mesilat Nefesh V'Am Yisrael. Good, right? Another fellow rabbi once in a while actually likes me. Good, no? Chazaku Baruch, for all of the hard work that you're doing, all the kiruv that you're doing. I wish I can help you. That's the message. Now you would think, oh, you guys are thinking, wait a minute. He works in an organization that has money like it's dirt. I could give you a bunch of reasons to use it. So let's print 1 million CDs for Gamma Brit. Another 1 million CDs for another 1 million USBs. Go do seminars in every single city. Pay for people to come to shiurim and seminars just to get people to do tshuva. I could show you 1 million ways. $100 million, I get all of Am Yisrael to do tshuva. $100 million? Easy. I can show you how I can do it. But he says outright, he doesn't realize what he's saying. I wish I can help you. What is that really saying? It says, Rabotai, that our pride is so enormous that even the religious organizations care less about the Torah. Care less about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? They care about their shita, their way. Doesn't matter that your way is actually more effective and gets more people to do tshuva, and there are dozens of people doing tshuva each and every single day from all walks of life all over the world, and everyone knows it. No. It's not our way. If it's not our way, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Now, he's a tzaddik. It's not his fault. He can't do it. He tried. But the Baal Habayit, the people running the place, no, sir, it's not our way. Yeah, but it works, though. It's a 2-year-old. Send me a friend of mine, Talmid from the United Kingdom, sends me a text message today. He says, my daughter, 2 years old, little kid, baby, was crying in the car nonstop a couple of days ago. Nothing would help. So the father says, so I tried to talk to her. Honey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Nothing. Crying. Sometimes you have kids, they cry. Nothing will stop. So he says, you want me to give you the phone? You play with the music? Play songs? She stops. She says, no, Abba. I want Rabbi Yaron. Shtabach shimo la'ad. I'll show you the text message. Changed my day. I was like thinking maybe I should start taking depressing pills from what's going on in the world. This little 2-year-old gave me chizuk. It was like the Mashiach for me. This morning I got it. This morning, mamash, chizuk from a 2-year-old. 2-year-olds are doing tshuva. Obviously it's working. People like to hear the truth. Jews, non-Jews, boys, girls, everybody likes it. Some people can handle the whole 2-3 hours. Some people can handle an hour and they run away. But if they like it, they keep coming back. Why? Because it's true. No, but if it's not our way, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Yeah, but you realize the only 2 things that we need right now, only 2 things, aside from the siyata d'ishmaya to continue, aside from the miracle from heaven for this to exist to continue, aside from that, only 2 things we need. 1, more lectures. People to set up more places with hundreds and hundreds of people to come so we can meet more people. That's 1. Shouldn't be that difficult. You have a community, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 people show up every Shabbat. Make sure they all show up one day for me to come there at the same time, and we sit there for a couple hours and start doing tshuva. 1 thing, easy. If you can. 2nd, money. That's it. Somebody to bring money to the organization. Why? Because we have bills. We have employees. We have stuff to pay. All the CDs, all the stuff costs money. Right now, we are only a few, maybe 1,000 CDs away that will have 0 CDs. We can't print. We don't have the money to print. People keep asking me, listen, we want the USB. I said, yeah, I want the USB also. I know the new cars have the USB. I don't have the money. I don't even have the money to print more CDs. 1,000 more, 2,000 more, something minimal. It's gone, finished. I just got 2 boxes today. I have 1,000 in my house. I think there's another 1,000 in the warehouse. That's it, out of CDs. We've given out over 100,000 CDs in the last couple of months. Don't have money to print more. Masechet Avodah Zarah cards, 40,000 we've given out. Each one was supposed to be sold $5, $10. Bupkis. Everything for free. The point is that to continue spreading the message costs money. That's what we need. If someone has money or someone knows someone that has money and you want to help, that's a fantastic way to help. If someone could help by arranging lectures where you can bring 100, 200, 300 people to one place, that's fantastic. Other than that, there are many other things that people can contribute, but those are the 2 main things. These 2 are easy peasy for some of these companies, some of these organizations to provide. Some of these big organizations, they have more money than they know what to do with. Korach is screaming from Gainov, hey, you guys have more money than me. So much money they have, but they don't do nothing with it. You see some of these organizations, literally, they raise tens of millions of dollars every month. Not a single Baal Teshuva comes from there. Not one. Maybe over a period of a year, they'll get, I don't know, maybe 10 with $100 million worth of funding. Nothing. A bunch of money being wasted. But that's because the receivers and the givers are not doing it for the right reason. The receivers that are running the Jewish organization, they care less about the Jews or the Torah. They care about brand. We have a brand. We have a marketing tactic. We have a nice website redesigned for the 18th time. Okay, but what about Torah? What about people doing tshuva? What about the 90% that don't keep Shabbat? Oh yeah, we'll get to them eventually. And the donors? Listen, I'm going to send you $1 million this year. It's a little more than last year, but make sure this year you have my name in the flyer. Make sure this year you have my name on the website. The guy is giving, he's not giving because he cares about Am Yisrael. He cares that his name is going to be on the newsletter. With such pride, we can't get out of our own way. So, this pride, Rabotai, is a cancer within every single one of us. Every one of us has to work on it. Even a speaker that speaks the truth has to be extraordinarily careful. And we'll finalize with this. How careful could a person be? Even if the person speaks the truth, the best truth, the ultimate truth. He always has to be worried because even Rabban Gamliel, when he was led by the Romans, the evil Romans, to his death, right before, he asked Rabbi Ishmael Kohen Gadol, why is it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is punishing me? What sin did I do? Not that he's complaining to Hashem. He just wants to know so he can do tshuva for it before he gets killed. So Rabbi Ishmael says, if you spoke to the public, and one time, you were proud in your heart because of some chidush that you gave. That's enough of a reason. Rabban Gamliel, the Gemara says, humility exited the world after he died. There's no more humility after him. Until his generation, they learned Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu all the way to Rabban Gamliel. You learn Torah only standing up. You can never learn Torah sitting down when you learn Torah. Rabban Gamliel was the last one. After that, since then, we've been sitting down ever since. That's why it's called yeshiva. Yeshiva means sitting down. But until Rabban Gamliel, you learn Torah standing up only. That's how holy he was. Rabban Gamliel says, you comforted my neshama. There had to be meaning that even Rabban Gamliel, which was the descendant of David HaMelech, he was Raui to be the Mashiach. He says, there had to be a moment at some point over all these years that maybe I was proud of something that I said. That's how careful somebody needs to be of this spiritual cancer. And if Rabban Gamliel needs to be so careful and knows that he probably failed for it, needless to say us. So this means that this is in all of us. That's the shiur bayit. That's the homework for tonight. Everyone go home and think, where am I too proud about? Or proud at all? Pick one thing. Don't go through the whole list. You may go into a manic depression. Pick one. Pick one thing that you remember yourself being a show-off about. Start working on that. Start doing tshuva on that. Before you go to sleep, say, Hashem, I can't believe it. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that what I was doing was disgusting in your eyes. I'm sorry. That already, Rabotai, makes us much better as a result of this shiur. If each one of us becomes much better, and every person that's watching becomes much better, guess what? It improves the entire nation's goral, what's going on in the world right now. We are literally in a situation where pride is destroying us. Both the religious and the secular are exemplifying the highest level of pride. The religious think that when what they do is pure and holy, regardless of what it is, and the secular think that what they're doing is pure and holy no matter what it is, and this is what's happening. No one wants to change, no one wants to adapt, no one wants to do anything. So that's why, Rabotai, we need to start doing cheshbon nefesh as individuals, and if we all do it as individuals, the whole nation will do it. If the whole nation will do it, we could arrive at Rosh Hashanah with actually something that's worthwhile. BeEzrat Hashem, this will incentivize at least a few of us to do something about it. BeEzrat Hashem, tomorrow night we'll do a shiur in Sunny Isles, the questions and answers. On Sunday, there's no shiur. There's no shiur on Sunday, but we'll be back here next Tuesday, BeEzrat Hashem. Also pay attention to the schedule, because the holiday schedule is going to be most likely maximum one lecture per night. One lecture per week. We'll try to maintain at least one lecture per week, BeEzrat Hashem. Anyone that wants to get the current updates should subscribe to the website, beezrathashem.org. It's also a good place to donate, as well as subscribe to our WhatsApp groups. Get the daily updates, short shiurim, the new movie we released today, short film for 9 minutes to give a little chizuk with some music in it. So Baruch Hashem, the team continues to work, and BeEzrat Hashem will continue reaching more and more neshamot around the world. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'amen. Did they have volume the whole time? Thank you for coming.
My brother-in-law actually